Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into the deeply fascinating, incredibly heartbreaking, and honestly, ultimately inspiring true story behind Netflix's brand new release, The Witness. If you follow true crime at all, you already know that some stories just stick with you way after the headlines fade. Well, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know about the facts of this case, the massively publicized investigation, and really the survival of a family pushed to the absolute brink. Let's get right into it.
Picture this. July 1992, Wimbledon Common. It's a gorgeous summer day in southwest London. A young mom named Rachel Nickell is out for a walk with her little boy. And it was right there, in a spot that should have felt completely 100% safe, that she was attacked and killed. She was stabbed over 40 times. I mean, the sheer brutality of this happening in broad daylight, it absolutely shocked the entire country. It was one of those moments that literally froze time for the British public. It completely changed the community's sense of safety. But the thing that truly gripped the nation's attention, and what makes up the devastating core of this whole story, is who was standing right there when it happened. Seriously, what happens when the only witness to a horrific crime is a 2-year-old? Rachel's son, Alex, was just a toddler, sitting right beside his mother. He was the sole witness to this unspeakable tragedy, and this right here is the central focus of what we're looking at today. Rachel's partner, André, was suddenly left to raise their deeply traumatized little boy entirely on his own. And meanwhile, this unthinkable, incredibly personal loss transformed overnight into one of the most heavily scrutinized murder investigations in British history.
Which brings us to part 1 of our explainer, a flawed investigation.
Now, looking at the timeline of this case, it represents just a massive derailment of justice. The crime happened in 1992, right? But for years, literally years, the police aggressively chased the wrong man. It took over 15 years for the real killer, a man named Robert Napper, to finally be identified and convicted. So for more than a decade and a half, the actual murderer walked completely free while the grieving family just had to wait. You're probably wondering, how on earth did this happen? How was justice delayed for that long? Well, the investigation went completely off the rails when police became absolutely totally convinced that a local man named Colin Stagg did it. They were so dead set on this guy, actually, that they authorized a highly controversial undercover sting. They sent a female officer in to try and basically coerce a confession out of him, but he never confessed. Why? Because he didn't do it. Stagg was eventually cleared, but man, the damage was already done. An innocent man's life was turned totally upside down, the entire investigation was derailed, and the headlines, they were just completely consumed by this botched police pursuit.
So, moving on to part 2, escaping the media circus.
You can imagine the suffocating pressure from the British tabloids. It was intense. To escape it, André made the incredibly difficult choice to just uproot their lives entirely. They fled the epicenter of all that trauma in London, packed up, and crossed the Channel to France, desperately seeking some sort of peace. Eventually, they settled down in Spain so Alex could safely grow up. Think about that. They literally had to cross international borders just to find the space to breathe and survive as a family, far away from the relentless flashbulbs of the press.
All right, let's dive into part 3, the true human story.
What's really interesting is that the Netflix series actually pivots away from all those police failures to focus strictly on the survivors. The show is based directly on a memoir called Letting Go, which was written by Hanscombe himself. So this isn't just some Hollywood dramatization cooked up in a writer's room somewhere. No, it is deeply, deeply authentic. And the coolest part? Both the real Alex and his dad, André, served as active consultants throughout the whole production. So you're getting the story exactly from their point of view. What it was genuinely like to live through that unimaginable loss, to endure that crazy media circus, and to suffer through that agonizing wait for justice. And as you'll see, Alex's journey wasn't easy. Not by a long shot. For a long time, he was a really rebellious teenager. He was struggling immensely with his trauma, and honestly, because of that, he lacked respect for his father. But as the story unfolds over more than a decade, we get to see this profound transformation. As Alex grows up into an understanding adult, he finally begins to realize the massive, life-altering sacrifices André made just to keep him safe and give him a shot at a normal life.
Now, I want to slow down a bit right here because this moment, it's really the emotional climax of the entire series. Towards the end, after Alex finally learns the full truth about the real killer, Robert Napper, he turns to his dad and says, "I once told you that I don't respect you. I don't feel that way anymore. I've got nothing but respect for what you've done for me." Wow. It is just such a powerful, hard-earned moment of closure. After everything they went through, everything they lost, they managed to find their way back to each other.
And the real Hanscombes? They want audiences to take away something very specific from their story. Despite living through one of Britain's absolute darkest, most controversial true crime cases, they actually describe their survival as being by the grace of God and a promise to just go on together. They really want this series to be a message about faith, hope, love, and never, ever giving up. It's honestly this beautiful, uplifting testament to human resilience in the face of the worst possible circumstances.
Finally, Part 4, The Viewing Guide.
So, Netflix did something pretty unique with this release. They actually dropped 2 separate projects on the exact same day. First up, you've got the 3-part drama series, which is your window into that deeply emotional human story of André and Alex that we just talked about. But right alongside it is the companion documentary, and that dives deep into the hard facts of that controversial police investigation. Reviewers are highly recommending you watch both. Use the documentary to get the stark facts of the police work, and then watch the drama to truly grasp the emotional, human heartbeat behind those headlines.
So, I'll leave you with this. How do you build a future of hope when your entire past is defined by a national tragedy? That is a question André and Alex Hanscombe had to wake up and answer every single day of their lives. The Witness is streaming right now on Netflix, along with its companion doc. If you want to understand the incredible strength it takes to answer a question like that, this is absolutely the story you need to watch. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this breakdown has prepped you to fully appreciate the remarkable, resilient journey of the Hanscombe family.